let me just ask. And I was like, do you have a binky? I think I've seen a video about it. And he was like, all these fucking trolls, they say that binkies, blah, blah, blah. I don't. And I was like, do you? And he's like, well, I do.
What's up, fellas? Today we got another Nova video for you, and in this one, it's gonna be a little crazy. So, just the other day, Nova got caught. I guess he didn't get caught, but basically, what they're calling an interview, another one of these interviews, came out of a 15 to 16-year-old girl that Nova was friends with on Discord. Now, she's not 15 currently, I don't believe. I believe that was the time of the story she's recounting. So we'll get to there when we do. But I've got a bit of a list here that I wrote up. If you can hear this piece of paper, and I'm just gonna read off a couple of points from this list so you get a good idea of how crazy this interview is before we get started. Trolls making fun of him for being a pedo. He wishes he could hug her. I'm not being weird, am I? You're making me regress. She makes him feel like a little kid. Calls her a mommy. Yeah, but it's more than that. She discovered him. He used the baby voice. Asking for mommy ASMR. I hope that gives you a good idea of what's to come in this video. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy.
So, let me like make a voice note because this is like way too fucking long to type out. So what happened was is that I was friends with him for almost 3 years, or like about 3 years. So I was 14, turning 15 when I became friends with him, and he used to play Fortnite on Twitch. He doesn't use Twitch anymore, but he had a Twitch account. And I used to play Fortnite with him. Like he would invite me to play, and we were playing Fortnite. And he asked me, "Hey, can I have your Discord so like I can text you better?" And I was like, "Okay, cool." And the only time he would text me is just to hop on Fortnite, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And this is before I saw like the weird stuff about him or whatever, and I was like, okay, whatever, right? Fast forward, um, he like got, I guess like that account, I don't know what happened to it, but he got a new account, and I added him on his new account because he told me to, and then he wasn't talking to me. He was low key like telling me, "Oh fuck my life, I hate my life," blah blah. But then he wouldn't respond to what I was saying to him, or when I would reply back to him, he would just low key just, "I fucking hate my life, fuck my life, like, I wish I died," and then I would respond like, "Why? What's wrong?" And then no respond until he'd be like, "I fucking hate my life," and then I'd be like, "Why? What's wrong?" Ah. But then he was having a contest of like in his server, he was trying to make like have a contest, see who could make the best merch, right? And I sent him like, hey, this is like what I think you'll be a good merch for you. And it was really cool. And he told me that he was gonna use it, but he never used it to make merch. But then later on in our friendship, he would like we would play games and we would do this and that, right? But then he was telling me like, oh, I fucking hate my life. No, it's fine. And then he'd be like, "Oh, I fucking hate my life." And then I'd be like, "What's why? What's wrong?" And usually he wouldn't respond. But that day he was like, "Oh, it's just the trolls and stuff. And they're saying mean things about me." And I was like, "Why?" Like blah blah blah. And he was like, "Well, they're saying I talk to little kids." And I was like, "They think you talk to little kids? Like what?" And he was like, "Yeah," and blah blah blah. And I was like, "No, it's gonna be okay. Like everything's gonna be better. I promise." Blah blah blah, and everything's gonna be okay. I know, blah blah blah, it'll be okay. And he'd be like, "Oh, thank you." And then he wanted me to join a voice call, and I've never joined a voice call with this guy besides only like voice chat in Fortnite. And he was talking to me, and he was like, "I'm sad. I wish I had a hug. I wish I could hug you." And I was like, "Really? Oh, okay." And then I'd be like, "Yeah, but I'm." How old was I? Like 16? I was like 16. And so I was like, "Oh, I'm 16." And he was like, well, I'm not being weird, am I? And I was like, no, it's just a little. And so, like, that was happening. And he was telling me, like, oh, you're making me regress. And I was like, what's regress? And he was like, oh, it's where I just go back to the state of being a little kid. You make me feel like I want to be a little kid again. And I was like, why? And he's like, because you're such a mommy. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, you're such a mommy. You do this and do that. And you comfort me when I'm sad. And I was like, well, I'm just being a friend. And he was like, yeah, but it's more than that. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, whatever. And then he was like, then I started seeing the videos on TikTok, and then I went down a rabbit hole of Nova, and I was like, wait, all this makes sense, like with the diapers, and when he would talk to me, he would use like the baby voice. right? And so I went on a rabbit hole, and I was like, wait, so the guy that I consider a friend actually is not doing, like, he's a weirdo. So then I was just curious because I was like, because I was just dead ass curious. So I was asking because I seen videos about his binky, and I was like, oh, let me just ask. And I was like, do you have a binky? I think I seen a video about it. And he was like, all these fucking trolls, they say I have binkies, blah, 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 I don't. And I was like, do you? And he was like, well, I do. And so he showed me his binky, and he said, does he like sucking on him? I said, being a baby. Or he like would hold a stuffed animal and he would turn on his camera and be like, I wish it was you, wish it was you. And I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. Like, I'm getting uncomfortable. And I was telling him I was getting uncomfortable. He was like, you think I'm a weirdo? You think I do this? You think I do that? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then he sent me, because he said that my voice was relaxing. He says that I think it's personally annoying, but you know, whatever. But he was saying that my voice was relaxing and that like he could fall asleep to it. And then he sent me like this thing of like his favorite ASMRs, and some of them would be like, "Mommy gives you a hug, mommy gives you kisses," and he told me that he wanted me to like, I guess, make one for him because he was so much of a mom, like I was so much of a mother or a mommy, I guess, which is weird. But I have a lot of screenshots of text between Nova. I have videos of him showing me his binky and stuff like that, which I'm very 100% like. I made a TikTok post about it like not that long ago, but it got like no views, and I stopped being friends with him. I looked at it and I was like, I'm not gonna be your friend anymore, and I stopped being his friend. I like I unfriended him. I didn't block him, but he low-key was like using me for a little bit, like, you know, it was just felt worse because it was like, you know, I was like, when he was getting diagnosed with like depression, I was his friend and he was telling me while he was at the hospital, like getting diagnosed with depression and like anxiety and stuff like that. And I was there making sure, like, I was like, oh, it's okay, it's gonna be okay, right? But then when he started like doing the Nova Core, or when he started like more food reviews and stuff like that, he started being more of like rah 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 rah. He kind of just like stops talking to me, and I would be like, Nova, like, what's going on? And he'd be like, fuck everybody. And then he started doing the thing where he like, fuck my life. And then he wouldn't respond to me. And I was like, you know, no, I'm gonna stop being your friend because one, you're making me uncomfortable. Two, you're using me because I'm nice to you. And three, he'd be like just asking me for weird stuff. And I was like, dude, I'm just not gonna be your friend anymore.
All right, Nova, we got some things to talk about. I'm gonna let him dance on screen while we talk a bunch of shit about him. So, going back to the list I wrote up, just to help me a little bit, because there's so much stuff in this video, I couldn't do it without a list. So, number one, he's crying to this girl, this 15-year-old, 16-year-old girl at the time, that there are people making fun of him for being a pedo. He's crying to a child about people making fun of him being a pedo. How much less self-aware could you get? That's really all I have to say about that one. How much less self-aware could you possibly be? Like, when he's actively being a pedo? I don't know. Anyway, the girl consoled him a whole lot. Like, every time, I guess he would constantly go to her and trauma dump and say this and that, and he'd constantly just be crying to her about every little thing that happened. And I guess he wouldn't respond usually when she tried to make him feel a little better about himself. But at this time, she had no clue that he was a pedo and everything else. So yeah, he was talking about how he wished he could hug her, and while knowing that she is underage, like a child, literally a child. And she's like, hey, did you know that I'm 16? Like, I'm 16, by the way. You shouldn't be trying to hug me. You're saying you want to hug me. And you know what he says? Oh, I'm so sorry for being weird. I'm being weird, aren't I? Like, trying to make her feel bad for it. And that's not the only time that she had brought up him trying to make her feel bad over things like this. So, I don't know. These videos, every time I make a video on Nova, like, leaks or something like that, it just gets worse and worse. Every single time. So, I don't know. Moving on. My next point. You're making me regress. What? A 16-year-old girl is making you regress? Nova, not everybody's into this weird baby stuff that you're into. But leave minors out of it. I was talking in the other video. Who gives a fuck? If you're into all this weird stuff, do it on your own time, consenting adult type shit. Do not involve children in it. Every single time I've ever got on you for doing this bullshit, you're involving children in it. So it's like, don't involve children. A 16-year-old girl shouldn't make you do anything that has anything to do with sexual gratification. You're just a pedo. I've said it too many times. PDF in Minecraft. I've said it too many times. YouTube might get mad at me. Anyway, what else do we got here? She makes him feel like a little kid. That's just the same thing. You're making him regress. She didn't make him do any of that. She didn't make him do anything. He was saying that she loved. I can't even talk. I'm getting so flustered over this shit. He was saying that her voice makes him regress. He loves her voice. It makes her sound like a mommy, according to him. He's talking to a child. Like, how does he not? It just makes me sick. Thinking, I don't even want to be reading this. I didn't want to write this down on a piece of paper. I don't want to be saying it out loud. It's just disgusting. Nova needs to, all that shit Uncle Drew was saying that he was going to do. He was going to show up with the sheriff and watch all his clips. That's what needs to happen right about now. Not like it shouldn't have happened long ago, but we need the squad to come in and take care of things. But what else do we have on this horrible list? Okay, her saying we're not together. There's nothing between us. Yeah, but it's more than that. What does he mean? It's more than that. What did he mean by that? What, like, is he trying to imply that he wanted to have a relationship with his child? Is that what he's trying to imply? Not even the child was into it. The person I'm going to say that she's a victim. Now, it probably will say somewhere in the thumbnail that she is a victim or the victim spoke out. This is a victim of Nova. If you don't consider this girl a victim when he's saying that she sounds like she is a mommy and she's making him regress, he's bringing her into these weird sexual fetishes that he has. If you say she's not a victim, I'm sorry, I disagree. She wasn't physically done anything to. But you don't with the age of the internet, you can be violated in horrible ways just with fucking a computer, through a computer screen. And Nova knows no bounds. So that's all I'm saying. This is truly a Nova victim right here. What else do we have? At some point she discovered all the horrible videos and things that came out about him after he had said, no, these people they're making fun of me for being a pedo. They're calling me a pedophile. She says, are you a pedophile? No, I'm not a pedophile. Even though I'm talking to all these kids. Like, he was an adult at this point in time. I'm like 90% sure he was an adult. I don't know. I gotta say, he used the baby voice a lot with her. Probably because of all this weird mommy stuff that he's getting into. He wanted to be... I don't know. Another way that he's trying to manipulate her. I'll say that if y'all don't think he's trying to manipulate a minor, then he definitely was. In this situation, at the very least. My next point, I know this video is going to be a little short, but he was sending her his favorite mommy ASMR videos on YouTube. Now, she was saying that she believes he wanted her to make one of these videos or a similar video to that for him. If you don't know, I'm not going to explain the whole thing, but these ASMR videos, especially with the subject that Nova's wanting, I don't even want to say the word anymore. The fucking mommy ASMR videos, they're all for sexual things. Even if they're on YouTube and not some shit like Pornhub, they're still sexual. It's still there's something to it. Nova ain't just... You all know this. I don't need to explain a fucking word more. It's just disgusting. You wanted a child to make him a video like this? Disgusting, dude. I'm gonna keep my opinions to myself, but he's making me mad at this point. Like, I'm for real. I don't like getting mad in these videos. But let's move down the list. I've only got a couple more. I've got one more. The very last thing on the list. She stopped being his friend after all this. God, I hope so. God, I'm very happy that she stopped being his friend after all this. one thing I did forget to mention, he was showing her all his binkies. And one of the times when he was complaining about, oh, the trolls are making fun of me, because he did that all the time, was about having binkies. And he's like, no, I don't have binkies. And then immediately after she said, he's like, yeah, and then, yeah, he did have them, and then started showing her them. So it's like, he doesn't want people to know he has these. He's saying that he doesn't have these. And then the second someone asked about it, he shows them. Now, more than likely, it's because of all the previous, like, things that he's gotten into that, for whatever reason, he thinks he's, like, starting a relationship or trying to be in a relationship with this child. Maybe that's why he was showing her all this stuff that he'd otherwise be private with. I don't know. But that's all I'm going to say about this video. I'm sorry if it's kind of just me rambling off a list. That's all I could do for this thing. Throw the list over on the side. I'm gonna burn in this piece of paper one day, probably soon. But yeah, I'm sorry if this was just kind of a random one. I wanted to get this covered because it's some vile things from Nova. I just wanted everyone to see the 8 minutes of the recording of the girl talking. That's all I wanted y'all to see. You don't have to stick around for nothing else. I just want this to get out there. I want people to know that Nova is a creep. Without any more talking about this horrible stuff, I hope y'all, I was going to say enjoyed the video. Don't enjoy this video. I hope y'all have a rage burning in your heart that just wants to get rid of Nova Online. But without saying anything else, all I'm going to say is Nova for jail 2025. And I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Have a good one. Peace.